Namaste, you're on the Nation at 5. I'm Anand Narasimhan coming to you live from the CNN News 18 newsroom. And big news coming in from the world of politics, Maharashtra, and a huge setback for the Uddhav Thackeray camp. A big fillip for the Eknath Shinde camp within the Shiv Sena. Because the Honorable Supreme Court has now decided, after a huge number of arguments that were made and fervent pleas were made, that the court rule on it. The court has said, no, we are not going to decide. Who is the real Shiv Sena? This question will be answered by the Election Commission as per rules. As per rules that govern and decide the functioning of a political party, and it is the Election Commission of India, which is a constitutional body in itself, that will deem who is in control of the party. It's not about legacy, it's not about name, it's not about who is the current president, etc. It is about what the rules say as to who controls the party or who is deemed to be in control of the party. That is the big judgment coming in, or ruling coming in from the Honorable Supreme Court. Let's get the details from Ananya before we bring in Vinaya Deshpande, because this is going to get a lot of things rolling. And set a few things in motion in Maharashtra too politically. But Ananya, what happened in court? We're given to understand that Kapil Sibal, arguing for the Uddhav camp, made some very strong pleas even when the order was being dictated. Ananya, can you hear me? Oh, I think we've just lost Ananya there. We'll try and go across to Vinaya Deshpande. Vinaya, what does this mean for politics in Maharashtra? Because Eknath Shinde and Devendra Fadnavis together have been saying it is Eknath Shinde who's the real Shiv Sena, Bala Saheb Shiv Sena. This is who Eknath Shinde is, and this is who they are the ones who have the right to the bow and arrow symbol.
Well, Anand, clearly this is a setback for Uddhav Thackeray, because remember that Uddhav Thackeray has approached the Supreme Court saying that at this point, the Election Commission cannot decide who does the party belong to. The fact that the Supreme Court has said that the Election Commission can go ahead and decide on the claim of Eknath Shinde clearly means that it will now decide on who does the symbol belong to and who does the party belong to. So at such a crucial juncture, when the symbol is in question, when Eknath Shinde has claimed that the party belongs to him, at the time when the BMC polls especially are coming ahead, it is anybody's guess as to what kind of setback it will be, even if the symbol is frozen or in whichever condition. Let's not get speculative here, but in whichever condition, whatever decision is made by the Election Commission, the fact that the Uddhav Thackeray group could not convince the Supreme Court that at a point when so many crucial things were already under litigation, and when the apex court was hearing them, the question of who the symbol belongs to and who the party belongs to should not be decided at such a premature junction by the Election Commission. Uddhav Thackeray has not been able to convince.
But here is the thing, Vinaya. That if it is the Election Commission, does that mean imply a major setback for the Uddhav faction? The reason being, the Lok Janshakti Party ruling of the ECI stands clear, where it was not legacy, it was not about who claimed to be in control of the party, but it is about who had the numbers, who was in administrative effective control, not legacy. And that's why it was not the Paswan scion who got the control of the party, but it was the uncle. Ananya is with us. Ananya, what happened in court, if you can hear me?
Well, yes, Anand, a very lengthy hearing which continued since morning until 4:30 p.m. In the evening, and finally a big win for the Eknath Shinde camp coming in, and a big setback for the Uddhav Thackeray camp, because remember that this would have a very big ramifications, because the BMC polls are just round the corner, and that is the reason why the Eknath Shinde camp was actually pushing that the stay on in fact, the election commission proceedings is vacated, and the election commission determines as to who is the real Shiv Sena. And it has been constantly been argued by the Eknath Shinde camp that election commission is the right authority to do so. It's a constitutional body, it's an independent body, and does not have to do anything with the disqualification that occurs in the house, because it only occurs in the house, and the election commission is only determining as to who the party belongs to now. And remember that since the numbers are in the favor of Eknath Shinde, it is a strong case for him. Though the Election Commission of India is a quasi-judicial body in itself, and it will be holding its hearing itself. But what we have to also remember is when the last time the Election Commission of India had its day of hearing of this particular matter with regards to the symbol war of the Shiv Sena, the Eknath Shinde camp had actually gone with a truckload of documents, with a truckload of affidavits to be submitted in favor that Eknath Shinde is the real leader of this party at this moment of time. And this is what would be very, very crucial. And we will have to see as to how the Uddhav camp actually tries to put in its word that it is the real leader of the party. Because as you rightly pointed it out, it's the numbers that play the game, not the legacy at this point of time. Though a detailed order of the Supreme Court is yet to come into this particular case as to why this particular order has been passed and what reasoning has been given. But we can actually decipher it from the arguments that will win there. In fact, the governor of Maharashtra also was in the favor. He was being represented by Solicitor General of India, Tushar Mehta, who clearly pointed it out that Election Commission of India is actually an independent body. It's a constitutional body and does not come in the way of the House, and is a very, very different proceeding that takes place before the Election Commission of India, and hence it can proceed independently and does not have to do anything with what happens inside the House.
Did the court opine or say whether or not, once the ACI makes its ruling, can the Uddhav camp or anybody come back to the court? Was there any comment on that front, Ananya? We are also trying to get back Vinay Deshpande with us, and also try for somebody from the Eknath Shinde camp to get their reaction. But did the court say that once the ECI finishes its ruling and decides, then whichever party that feels aggrieved can come back to us? Was there any comment made to that effect?
Well, Anand, the thing is that at this moment of time, because the court was already wrapping up, the court just said that the EC procedure has been done away with. Nothing else was said. But this is a general sense of law that if a person is aggrieved by certain kind of order, whether it's the Election Commission of India's order or some other order, it can definitely approach the Supreme Court. And any of the camps, whether it's the Eknath Shinde or the Uddhav Thackeray camp, if they are aggrieved by the Election Commission of India's order, they can definitely use their legal remedies to come before the Supreme Court and in fact seek a detailed hearing. And it's on the Supreme Court later on whether it would actually go into it or would want
admittedly,
to...
Because that's exactly what happened with the LJP. I'm just looking at the LJP playbook and how it played out. Somebody tried to go to court, then the ECI ruled, and then they went back to court and said, no, the ECI ruling stands. Did something similar happen? Because that is very ominous for the Uddhav faction. Vinaya, if it is the Election Commission, then they have a precedence in the recent past with the Lok Jan Shakti Party. And there again, it was not the Paswan Sayan who got the control of the party. It was the uncle Pashupati Paras who got the control of the party because he had the numbers and also the party symbol.
Well, yes, Anand, that is being discussed as one of the precedents in this case. But at this point, let me tell you, both the sides aren't really willing to talk speculative. It clearly is Eknath Shinde's case that he has the numbers when it comes to the MLAs and MPs. But with respect to the party structure, especially the organizational structure, that is something that we will have to see on paper whether Eknath Shinde will be able to muster that kind of strength. Because in Maharashtra itself, where the Shiv Sena is a regional party, imagine in a place like Mumbai, which is going to polls in the next few months, there are 37,000 Gata Pramukhs only. So if we are talking of office bearers and party officials and the entire party structure, the game is not so easy. It is going to be tough for both the sides, and it's also going to be a long winding road ahead. It's It's not that the Election
Right.
Commission will start hearing the matter and there will likely be a decision anytime sooner, is a kind of realization that both the sides seem to have. So there is also
Right.
a sense of anxiety about the symbol in the meantime, because till the time the Election Commission decides on the plea of Eknath Shinde, on the claim
Right.
for the real Shiv Sena, what if the party symbol gets frozen? What if the party symbol till that time is given to somebody else? In all those scenarios,
Right.
both the factions are trying to prepare themselves. So while there is a realization that for both the factions there's going to be a long binding road ahead, this clearly at this juncture is a setback for Uddhav
Right.
Thackeray, where the
Right,
Supreme
Vinaya.
Court has dismissed the plea of Uddhav
Right.
Thackeray, asking
Right,
them to
Vinaya.
not allow Election Commission to intervene at this crucial juncture, where several other points are entangled into a legal
Right,
battle.
Vinaya.
So as of
Vinaya,
now,
we'll come back to this political story in just a bit, but we've got big news coming through. Big news coming through at this point on the PFI crackdown. And this is intelligence inputs and, of course, sources within the government telling our investigations editor Manoj Gupta that this is there is all possibility that the PFI and its affiliate organizations could be banned very, very soon. That's the big news that's coming through. Top government sources saying that all preparations have been made to ban the PFI. The order will likely be given very, very soon. The government sources are saying that after the rioting, after the raid suggests that the PFI is a dangerous organization. There is enough and more now in terms of evidence in dossier and post the arrest to show that this organization's intent has been nefarious, devious, and perhaps hurtful to the interest of India and the Indian society. Now, sources say PFI is capable of any kind of terror activity. Interrogation reports also suggest that they are in touch with many international organizations to destabilize the country. Big news that's come through at this point in time that a ban is imminent, ban is highly likely, that order will be out soon. The plot to bleed India emerges, the plot to change and alter the DNA of our country itself from within, run the rot from within, and also take external help is something which is now manifest. More than 100 arrests on the first crackdown. Crackdown 2 has seen near more than 250 arrests. There are updates coming there too. We'll go to that in just a bit. But first, let's get the thoughts of Pathikrit Payan, geopolitical analyst and security analyst, Abhishek Banerjee, columnist. But first, Nirmal Kaurji, former IPS officer with us. She was DGP Jharkhand. Nirmalji, namaste. How would you see the activities of the PFI? Do you believe that the government is right in taking a step-by-step approach, natural progression towards a ban?
It is a very militant organization. As we saw even in the aftermath of the arrests and the raids, the way they were hurling petrol bombs and destroying property and indulging in loot and arson and the kind of protests they made, the violent protests, it's very clear that they are no different from SIMI. Only thing is they toned down their manifesto and aims so that they cannot be immediately banned, because their tone in what their aims they have stated are much softer than those of SIMI, but the goal is the same. Insiders say that the goal is the same, the way they are holding training camps, their militancy, almost their paramilitary-like network. You know, they are like a military organization only. All this shows that they are a very violent organization and they cannot do the society any good. And their agenda is no different. Their agenda is, as in their documents also we found that by 2047 they want an Islamic government in India. And they are indulging in all kinds of things, training people, recruiting them, especially the youth. And they have a number of small auxiliary units. Even if they are banned, they have registered so many smaller units, like SDPI, of course, is their political wing.
Yeah.
But things like Campus Front of India, National Women Forum, Foundation, lots of these foundations and such outfits they have registered. So that they can continue the work. They have always had this plan B. They always thought because SIMI was banned and they are nothing but, SIMI ka jo president tha, he is their general secretary. So it's the same organization. And they knew that they are going to be banned sooner or later. And they have all these auxiliary units which they have registered. So I think even if it is banned, keeping a watch on those plan B auxiliary units or auxiliary outfits is going to be imperative. Otherwise, they'll keep doing this, like they have a Human Rights Foundation. They have about 20 of those foundations registered. And that has to be equally, done, even if the organization, the parent organization, is banned.
Here is the concern, Nirmalji. If the government goes out to ban PFI and all its frontal organizations, there are more than 15 affiliates and different organizations which are offshoots of the PFI. If they go ahead to ban them, then could they manifest? Could these people go back all these current levels? They don't even not have 1 or 2 levels. They have tier 4, tier 5, tier 6 levels.
Yes.
Because even now, after breaking the back of their top leadership and the middle rung leadership, there are still protests that have been organized in Chennai. There are still people who are state secretaries who are absconding from CF Campus Front of India, from SDPI and others. Now look at what they have done. They have also modified their strategy. First, they were starting to send people to defend and put forward PFI stories. Now they are not sending their people at all because they want to mask. They don't want to put them in public light as to who are their sympathizers, who are their backers, who are the activists. So they could continue if PFI is banned and its affiliate organizations are banned. Here is the thing. SIMI evolved into Indian Mujahideen, evolved into PFI, and they have only perfected the art with
Yes.
each
How to
successive attempt.
How not to be caught, and also they could regroup in many ways, under many ways. So it really is going to require a lot of vigilance. So banning is not a very easy solution. Like, it's not a panacea. Even if you ban it and all its auxiliaries, you'll have to keep watching the people behind it, and how they regroup, what outfits they come out under, and what umbrellas they kind of have over them to join. But they'll keep, this discontent will keep simmering, and it really needs a lot of watching and a lot of action by the intelligence agencies and by the active police, how to go about cutting their roots, how to nip it. That is going to take a lot of effort. Just banning it is not going to be a very quick solution.
No, everybody would jump at the fact that ban this organization, Abhishek Banerjee. Should the organization and its fronts be banned, or should they be allowed to continue to operate, but you break the back of their operations and you also get to the bottom of the very last cadre that is active? Because otherwise you plug this one hole, they will manifest from somewhere else, and in perhaps a far more evolved platform or way where they will now perfect the art of how to subvert the system while being part of it, and further weaken the system too.
Yeah, Anand, so what I would make is 3 quick points. First of all, PFI is the biggest internal security threat to India. Clearly, we were a little behind the curve on recognizing this threat, but now the government seems determined to at least take out the top leadership, or, as you say, even the middle leadership of the organization. So the first thing is to put these people in jail for as long as possible by applying UAPA. They have to be kept behind bars so that the organization suffers a huge setback. Now, the second thing is, because there is a lot of worry about how this organization operates, because, they have a very sophisticated kind of operation. So I think what is very important here is that along with the criminal penalties, we have to start using civil penalties, because in civil penalties, the bar for proving something is much lower. So what we have to do is, for PFI leadership down to the lowest cadre, we have to we have Aadhaar, we have to cut their Aadhaar out of the financial system so that they cannot get a mobile phone, they cannot get a bank account, they cannot get a passport. This is exactly what the Canadians did, right, to stop the truckers' protest. So we have to do that. We have to do a huge civilian crackdown on these people. And the third thing is that it's not that we are helpless just because they are a very diffuse organization with a loose kind of membership. This also gives us an advantage. Because they are a loosely built organization, it is much easier for intelligence agencies to infiltrate them. So we have to take advantage of that. So keep the top leadership in jail, impose severe civil and criminal penalties on their cadre, and infiltrate and destroy this organization.
So use Aadhaar or any other social and public identification to not just pinprick them or cripple them, but also to make it the cost of being affiliated with an organization or its fronts like this so dear that nobody would dare to do it. We've got more news coming through at this point. Before I bring in Pathikrit Point, this is again a CNN News 18 exclusive where we have accessed the intelligence inputs behind this crackdown. The suspects arrested today have been involved in mobilizing sympathy for the PFI both at home, locally, and also abroad, internationally. These suspects were planning riots and attacks across the country, and the suspects have made calls out of India for money and legal assistance. The suspects have links with terrorists and wanted to repeat the Delhi riots of 2020 while also trying to mobilize a certain level of sympathy. So you're trying to play the victim card here and then weaponize victimhood. That's the next layer. So a two-pronged strategy. Pathikrit Pain.
Yeah, Anand, I would rather say that there are three-pronged strategy. First would invariably be that they are one thing that PFI has no shortage of is funds. So they will be waiting to actually fight it out legally, and that's why the government is taking its own time to ban it, because it will try to secure all the flanks before you get into the legal tangle. Second is definitely they will try to play the victim card, and that is where I think the counter narrative is so very important, and it has to be told that PFI is one such organization which trained its cadre to join the same very ISIS which went into the Middle East, and it killed more Muslims than anybody else. And that is where, if they are trying to create a victim card, they are trying to play by saying that they are Muslims, so they are being targeted. That's a completely false narrative that has to be fought on a daily basis through counter information warfare. Third, definitely, Anand, is the issue of how do you deal with the radicalized lot. It's for sure to have radicalized millions of people. I mean, you can ban the organization. That is very much important, because you need to create a fear in the minds of people. And in the eyes of a law, an overground elite worker is as much prosecutable as an underground worker is. So that has to be created. But at the same time, they would try to, of course, that is the nature of hybrid organizations in the era of fifth generation warfare. They would try to use the social media. They would try to use other means to evolve. And that is why it is important to understand that it's not a one-off thing. It is not like one Balakot strike. It has to be a continuous process. You have to keep an eye on how it evolves. And I'm sure there will be telltale signs of how this evolution will happen. It happened through Simit, through PFI as well. Perhaps somewhere our focus went somewhere else. That should not happen. These organizations now know how you can camouflage it in the name of social organizations, in the name of political activism, and in the name of fighting for human rights. I think that today the agencies know very well how to fight it out. But I still believe the government will not be in a hurry to ban it, because once you ban and the legal wrangle starts, you have to prove everything. And unfortunately, our laws are such that you have to actually prove everything over there. Is it possible to ban? Is it possible to ban without banning? Is one big question. Can we use certain mechanisms to cripple their finances, make the cost of associating with this organization dear, and weaken this organization to such a level that they themselves wither away? But after flushing out every single radical element who is perhaps associated with this group, and they have a particular intent with respect to the DNA of our country and what they want to do here. Right now, we are getting visuals from Chennai. Let's go straight across to Purnima, who's joining us from where we are given to understand some PFI and its affiliate organization sympathizers, members are organizing a protest. Whereabouts are you, Purnima?
Well, this is Alandur, where different Muslim organizations have gathered and are staging protests against the raids that were conducted across the country. Remember, apart from the Muslim organizations, VCK, which is an ally of the DMK, VCK members are also participating in the protests, while the DMK so far has not issued a statement or reacted on the raids that were conducted or taken a stance. The ally of the DMK, VCK, is now staging protests in support of the PFI. So we'll have to wait and see how this pans out. But this is the second protest today in Chennai. Earlier, a small group again protested, and PFI members here say that the protests will only intensify and are lashing out at the central government, saying that the raids are politically motivated, while there's evidence gathering on the way the PFI has been functioning so far.
Now, who are these people who are on stage, and what is it that is being said? Because there seem to be at least 150 people present there at this gathering. Are they asking for collections or fundraising to be done to support the legal cases of the PFI? Are they claiming that the members of the PFI are innocent? What is being said? And you are saying they are allies of the ruling disposition, the DMK.
Well, on stage, you can find members of different Muslim organizations, apart from the PFI and SDPI members. And also VCK, an ally of the DMK. You can find members of the VCK also sharing the dais with the Muslim organizations. and they are now lashing out at the central government, especially Home Minister, and they're also saying that in fact they're lashing out at both RSS as well as the central government, saying that there is no evidence and that they are not involved in any fraudulent activities, and these raids were only to gain political mileage. That's what they are saying right now. And DMK, ADMK so far have not reacted on the raids, but VCK, an ally of the DMK, members of the VCK, if I can ask my camera person to show you, members of the VCK are there sitting on the stage and sharing the dice with the Muslim organization. So
Right, Purnima. So you're saying that there are the allies of the DMK who are now stepping up and coming out in support of the PFI and the SDPI, standing there and trying to goad other Muslim organizations to step out and step up onto the streets. Now, this confirms the fact that there will be an effort to raise sympathy, to try and get a certain amount of public traction and societal traction for them. They will also use this to perhaps create societal unrest and mayhem to try and further build pressure so that the crackdown is eased off. There is their easing of pressure as far as the PFI is concerned. This is a classic trying to play the victim game so that you can use the very society you want to corrupt and control eventually, that turns around to come up and step up for you and defend you. Nirmalji, how does government counter such a strategy? They are aware this is what they're going to try and do.
Very unfortunate thing. Very unfortunate that in every opportunity, I mean, we see an opportunity, political parties see an opportunity. Every problem like this, which is so connected to internal security and nation security, they see only vote bank. It's only their vote bank politics which is getting it. So vote bank, this is not the time for vote bank politics. These allies of the political parties, of the ruling party or the opposition, they should not see it as a vote bank opportunity, which unfortunately they do all the time. But our nationality, our national interest has to transcend, whatever these smaller identities are, our vote bank and our political party and whatever it is.
Right.
So, but they are unable to see it, so it's a tough task for the government. And I don't think banning it in a hurry is going to get any advantage for the government. So they'll have to do their homework before they go ahead and, decide to ban it.
Right. Now, we got more information. Today, the crackdown has been in largely BJP-ruled states. Now, there is an intent there that and most of the crackdown today has been led at the state level. So, if on Wednesday, Thursday, the crackdown was led by the central agencies, today the central agencies have just provided the input at the state level. And we've got the latest update. 270 suspects are currently in custody. Some of them have been arrested. Others are being questioned. Interrogation is on. Let's take a look at the breakup, ladies and gentlemen. This 270 is split across BJP-ruled states. 56 in Uttar Pradesh, 74 in Karnataka, 23 in Assam, 34 in Delhi. So Delhi is the Aam Aadmi Party control, but again it's quasi 50-50, and the police administration, law and order comes under the center, and of course it is the seat of the central government. So target clearly BJP ruled areas, leaders of the BJP, and of course the RSS, and also officials from the central agencies like the ED, the NIA, and also state level police top officials. Maharashtra, 47 suspects. Madhya Pradesh, 21 suspects. Gujarat, 15 suspects. So I'm going to read out the number again. UP, 56. Karnataka, 74. Assam, 23. Delhi, 34. Maharashtra, 47. Madhya Pradesh, 21. And Gujarat, 15. So their spread is pan-India. These are 8 states which are currently where there is an action that has been taken. And 270 people being rounded up. Abhishek Banerjee.
Yeah, so Anand, as I was saying, the modus operandi of the PFI is to use our civil rights against us, right? So they will disguise themselves as civil society organizations, as social organizations. So now I believe that the battle is slowly going into the civilian arena. So my focus is that one should apply civil penalties to them. So if you take away their ability to have a mobile phone, to have a bank account, to have a driver's license, to have a passport, to have anything, it will be impossible for them to operate, because, organizations do not commit crimes. People commit crimes, right? So banning or not banning is really, it's a technicality which I really don't even know what will be gained by that. The important thing is that it should be made impossible for a PFI cadre to operate in any way in the country. He should not be able to get a loan, a bank account, nothing. And once they realize that the price is that high, if they want to run away to some other country, that's great. That's good news for us. And I should mention that I believe that in late 2019, one small change was made in the UAPA law, where the UAPA previously, I think, would apply to organizations. It was applied to individuals. There is something like that. There's some change in the law. So that should be used as well.
Okay, we're gonna take a very quick break. We've got plenty of ground to cover. Whenever you do damages, you have to pay for it. You damage public property, you got to pay for it. Is the PFI also going to be made to pay for it? We get you the number. Who's saying that? Stay with us. We may also have Mr. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi joining us live. Stay with us.